Hello everyone and welcome on back to the channel. So today I was at my desk as I usually am and I was eating some popcorn and I think the universe knew that I needed some entertainment and I came across a video reacting to a video game trailer for an MMO known as what I believe to be Lineage, Throne, and Liberty. Or if it's just called Throne and Liberty. I've heard it's been associated with the Lineage series. I'm a little lost on that part. However, I watched the trailer and I felt this rumbling in my stomach. And it wasn't just the popcorn. I think it's a newfound interest in love in an MMORPG, and I haven't felt that in so long. I now want to watch the trailer with you all and react. And then we're going to go over to the website and I will give my critiques about the website. We're here on the official YouTube page for Throne and Liberty. The first image that we are greeted with is an NCSoft Presents page. So this is an NCSoft product. It has ties to NCSoft, which as a Guild Wars 2 player, I am familiar to some extent with NCSoft and the other products that they have created, like Blade and Soul, Lineage, etc., etc. So this is nice to see, and let's press play and see what is up with Throne and Liberty. See, we have a overview shot. We have some birds getting a nice vantage point, a visual of the area. It kind of is reminiscent of Black Desert Online for me, but I do like this aesthetic, and we will continue to get to see a little bit of the outskirts. We see some civilians, some NPCs, and now we have a nice action shot sequence transitional night to day. It's also a bit of a different area. It looks more arid and deserty, seeing some differentiation, some variety in the actual environments as well. And of course we have our main focal point of the character running. They seem to be an archer of some kind with a really good design, and the lighting looks really good in this game, in this engine right now. And then the conflict really does start to blow out right here with this enemy. And then I think we were going to kind of like get teased at the combat, but it doesn't go into it. We get to see a little bit of, I think this is the first shot of like a quote unquote in-engine player facing view where we have some UI, and we are also watching the character like break open a chest. And the camera zooms into this set piece of this beautiful tree. It's very lavendery. It seems very mystical. A lot of magic flowing around it. Some more in-engine shots as well. This was really cool. And to be an MMO, for this to be an MMO, and we see some grappling and some dynamic movement where you can grapple onto ledges and pull yourself up. It seems to be utilizing some endurance as well. But I never ever see these systems in MMOs for the most part, and if they are implemented, they're usually tied to a certain map or a very specific mechanic. But throughout this trailer, you'll see that this looks to be a system that is more dynamic and transitionals. I personally love getting this little segment of concept art as well. I think it's always nice to see some concept art. This inspect feature is really interesting. I'm like, is there going to be treasure hunting where you have to look for clues and puzzles and identify certain facets of an item that we see in other RPGs and in other video games? But it's rather interesting. Some more combat. It looks really dynamic, and we get to see some wizard magic gameplay, which I am really thankful for. I'm a player who likes to play around with the magical classes, be it a mage, a priest, a warlock, a necromancer. That's the type of class fantasy and RPG fantasy that I gravitate towards. So highlighting that is really cool and really nice, because sometimes it's not highlighted, but the animations are really nice. The spell effects look really clean. We have some archery. And I wonder if this is going to be a class system where you choose a class, or if it's going to be a system where it's weapon dependent. I can see pros and cons for both. I think having a class will still be a good idea to then allow you to further customize and specialize into an area, but having it to where you have flexibility with weapons is also a really cool facet that other MMOs have been going down. But we see a little bit of a boss fight. It's really cool, especially with an MMO. We always want to see multiple people in an area fighting a boss. It then transitions to another boss fight. And now we're getting into something that appears to be more of a PvP area of the game. Competitive modes, of course, with MMOs, you typically have some sort of PvP aspect, but I wonder if this game is going to be more slanted for PvE or PvP. PvP is a little bit more of a tricky road with MMOs and current modern gaming, I would say. Where we have this rock golem that has a platform with players on it, basically taxiing them to a castle siege appears, and you can notice that the players on the ground will grappling hook onto the platform. So once again, encouraging and integrating that dynamic movement into it. And that was the trailer for Throne and Liberty. This looks really good. Really good. Now we're going to head on over to the actual website and talk about that. I am here on the official Throne and Liberty website. Now, I could have sworn that I had seen other YouTubers comment something about lineage and that this might be attached to an existing IP. If that is not the case, please disregard anything that I'm about to say. I will be going over the information on this video from a player's perspective that has no knowledge around the game and its IP and its lore. It's not coming from a place of dunking on something or like bashing it, but from a consumer-facing area. I'm going to be giving my feedback. First and foremost, this landing page is really nice. It's showing you portions of the gameplay a little bit more concentrated, really highlighting that action, which is extremely important. There are other games at the moment, one game that I cover in particular being Guild Wars 2, where their trailers, I have felt, don't prioritize their combat, which is oftentimes a game's most important feature. When you're playing a game, you really want to know what that gameplay is going to entail. So this is a really nice, like, upfront. It's dynamic, it's actiony, it's a good hook. And then we go down. We of course have the trailer for you to watch. We're not going to watch it again, but once again, they're giving you a bit more of a preview, highlighting some different clips, and we even have a bit more of a clear shot of certain UI features. It is dynamic and very modern. Now we go down to the narrative portion. Now, what I'm about to say, once again, and highlighting this, is coming from someone who has really no understanding of what this game is and its story. And I'm a player who really pays attention to story and values narrative. On top of gameplay, I want another reason to exist in an MMO and for me to spend my time playing that MMO. And a big part of that for me is the story. So let's read this. The narrative portion of this website reads, somewhere in the magical land of Solicium, I might not be pronouncing that right, an oath artifact begins to glow. Khazar, wraith of conquest, awakens from his long slumber. Sealed for centuries inside the sword of conquest, Khazar is resurrected by the ambitious Revil Lupus. After conquering Solicium Castle, they obtain Calanthea, a girl cursed by the left wing of Sylvaes. Their desire is to possess all the fragments of the Star of Sylvaes, an ancient object with absolute power. Okay, well, to be brief, TLDR, I understood nary a lick of anything I just said into this damn microphone. I'm gonna be frank, this is not a good narrative page for anyone who is unfamiliar of the lore, if there is lore. If there isn't lore, to me that's even worse. As a new player, as someone who has no context of what is going on, this copy for this page is bombarding me with names and locations and items that I have no knowledge of, no sense of. We see the visuals, they are very impressive. There is an ominous figure, which I assume to be the enemy. But when you are writing something, the copy of the page, for me, this makes no sense. It's a bit too much for me as a new player. Granted, if this is playing off of existing lore from the Lineage game or another game, it could be useful to have a little pop-down window that says read more, which is where they could then go into more detail about the story and about the existing characters and lore. I really want to get general points. I don't want to be bogged down into a laundry list of new places, names, and items that I have no reference for. It really feels like I'm reading the Silmarillion, and I'm just like, this is a textbook. I need to be hooked in a little bit more, and you're losing me. So that's my one critique of this narrative page, but other than that, it does look really impressive, and I am always excited to, over the course of time, learn more about stories and narratives that people write. But yeah, that's probably my biggest issue with this page. And then next we have the gallery. We get some concept art of this beautiful warrior who is getting ready for battle. Really awesome art in terms of the sword. The armor is really well done. I really enjoy this art direction as well, this concept art direction. It's very painterly. I can like basically feel the textures. We have this other one of this more magical scene. Really enjoy that. The armor is really beautiful. The detail work is nice. A little bit of a tattooing and markings on the hand really paint that aura of a magical scene. And we have this more knightly presence with some magic as well, kind of giving me paladin-esque vibes, guardian-esque vibes. I love this. This is the type of art that gets me excited. Much like the gameplay trailer that we saw, concept art is probably my second biggest turn on for a game, that I would say. And this is giving it to me. We have an elf character. There's a lot of like, I feel like this is like the aftermath of a battle, and they're just looking out in the distance like, we have to then pick up the pieces and all that. It's like, I want to know what was with this battle. I'm excited. This probably one of my favorite concept art pieces, not gonna lie, that we have access to and that we can see. This gives me the sense that there is going to be dungeons and bosses, and I love a boss and dungeon game, PvE focused, where you have a trinity system. I love being a healer. I think we shouldn't be straying away from healers. I'm always a little cautious when we go into more modern MMOs, as it seems like game companies are like, oh, you don't have to be a healer. Screw that. I love healing. I love supporting allies in a plethora of ways, be it single target, be it area of effect healing, be it skill shots, be it buffing. Utilize everything that you can. So I really hope that we see a nice PvE presence with this game, because I'm already hooked on the gameplay trailer. But yeah, the concept art was really great, and that is for the most part the website. I think it's a really strong website from what we have now. I would love to see a gameplay tab over at the left, where as it seems that this is a pretty early production. However, it would be smart to at least have a blurb about the gameplay. And it seems like when you're making a game, you want to nail down what type of gameplay you're going to be doing first and foremost. So I would love to see a little bit of that, like gameplay, weapons, classes, combat style. Yeah, everyone, that is my, I guess, overall review of the trailer for Throne and Liberty, as well as the review for the official website. This game, not many games have tickled my button for MMOs, but this game seems to be doing that, and I am very interested. So we might be exploring a little bit more of Throne and Liberty as more information rolls out over the course of the months. I don't know when this game is slanted to be released, and betas, alphas, I don't know. But overall, I'm very excited, and I would love to hear what you have to say down below. Is this perhaps an MMO that you weren't aware of, and you're like, oh, this looks interesting? Or is it perhaps the case where what you saw didn't really pique your interest, and why? I would love to comment down below. Any other information that I might not have shared here, feel free to leave that down below in the comments as well. And if you'd like to help support the channel and get early access to videos as well as an exclusive Discord, head on over to the Patreon. Thank you so much, patrons, for your support. And if you'd like to catch me on Twitch, I'm live every day of the week, and we play some games like Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy 14, MMOs. But yeah, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Mwah.